Hello everybody and welcome back to the F1 My Team Career Mode for the final season on F1 2021, and of course we're going to kick off season 3 of the My Team Career in Bahrain as per usual. We've got a new livery coming up in this episode, the losers livery, I think it should be known as after we lost the last championship in the final race to Max Verstappen after a very close battle between us and Valtteri Bottas throughout pretty much the entire season, and Verstappen of course clenches it at the end out of nowhere. Anyway, don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you know when the rest of these races are uploaded. And of course, don't forget to comment down below if you're looking forward to F1 22 coming out in just under a month, as we get onto the starting grid. And it is a Red Bull front row lockout with Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez lining up there. Then we have ourselves with a new picture lining up alongside Pierre Gasly on the second row. Then we have our old rival Valtteri Bottas alongside the 8-time world champion Lewis Hamilton, followed by our new teammate Sean Galeo. He's alongside Charles Leclerc. Behind them, rounding out the top 10, we have the two Spaniards Carlos Sainz and Fernando Alonso. Then it's the two McLarens of Daniel Ricciardo and Lando Norris missing out on the top 10, followed by Yuki Tsunoda and Esteban Ocon. Quite a stark difference between their teammates and their positions. Then we have Lance Stroll in the first Aston Martin. He's alongside George Russell in the Williams. Then we have the new Aston Martin driver Jack Aitken alongside Mick Schumacher, still at Alfa Romeo, followed by Antonio Giovinazzi alongside Nicolas Latifi, and as per usual, it's Christian Lundgaard and Nikita Mazepin. Well, here we go, about to kick off the final season of F1 2021 with the 2023 in-universe season happening as we speak right now, and we get off to a pretty bad start as we try to get past keep Pierre Gasly and Sergio Perez behind us. But now we're going three wide into turn 1 there. I can't even get the words out of my mouth right now. And powering down towards turn 4 as we stick ahead of Sergio Perez, Pierre Gasly doing some good stuff here. Our teammate Sean Galeo, who, but to be honest, purely accidental, him being hired by the team to replace Zhou Guanyu at the end of season 2. To be perfectly honest, I just bought him because he was the cheapest guy and then was going to replace him with someone else with all of our prize money. Unfortunately, because we'd signed a contract, it would not let me. So we were stuck with him, but he seems to be doing okay so far. He's managed to get past 2 Mercedes in the first couple of corners, at least. And we are just about staying ahead of Sergio Perez right now. Max Verstappen, much like the end of Season 2, has gone off into the distance. Let's go on board at the start with us. Get another good at the new livery. I like this livery, other than the really long black line at the front, going the full length of the nose. But yeah, here we go. We go around the outside of Sergio Perez there. He makes contact with us slightly, given that Pierre Gasly's on his inside, and quite easily pass. And then we go on board with our teammate Sean Galeo. Let's have a look at what he was getting up to at the first time of being in an F1 car, as he's already smoked Lewis Hamilton there and goes around the outside of Valtteri Bottas, puts the squeeze on Bottas and somehow gets ahead of him. Had it not been for Gasly coming across there, he would have undoubtedly have got up into at least P4 there. So a good start for him, and perhaps not the worst signing we've ever made at the team. We are, of course, immensely proud of our previous driver, Zhou Guanyu. Unfortunately, though, he hasn't made the cut this time. But anyway, we rejoin them on lap 4. We're currently chasing Max Verstappen. Further down the order, Fernando Alonso, who made up some good progress on lap 1, actually got into some contact and has come into the pit lane, but was driving around for the circuit at like 2 miles an hour, and has meant that quite a few cars have dropped back down the order. And you can see off in the background, there's a big gap between the back of Bottas and Daniel Ricciardo. Somehow Lewis Hamilton dropped down to 11th, perhaps also suffering some damage. But we're getting the DRS now. We're closing up to Max Verstappen. He has been breaking away from us as we go up the inside now. Having a little peek there. Not quite going to go for it this time. But we are all over the back of him as we come through turns 2 and 3 up towards the right-hander at 4. And with the DRS open, we give him a slight squeeze over to the left-hand side there just to say thanks for ruining Season 2 for us and becoming a world champion. And we get on our way. We are quite easily past the Dutchman. And somehow Sean Gelael still in P5, which is exactly what we want to see. Joe Guan Yu wasn't picking up the most amount of points last season, so wasn't really helping us too much when it came to the Constructors' Championship. Perhaps this time we will have a chance. That combined with our Drivers' Championship would probably be a fitting end to the F1 2021 series on the channel. Let's go on board with that move. Coming out of the first couple of corners, you can see the DRS and the overtake. Easy pass. Verstappen actually does come across at us as well, which was a little bit dirty from him. But even AI Verstappen is not immune to pulling stunts like that. There he goes, weaving all over the place, as per the AI like to do in this game. But unfortunately for him, not able to defend that move as we rejoin at the end of lap 5. We come round the final corner, about to start lap 6 now, approaching the halfway point of the race to see how much the Red Bull can close up in the DRS zone. Now, much like us, he gets close, but no cigar on this occasion. Sergio Perez actually also gained quite a bit of time on us right now, as we now go for another DRS zone. We've got the Red Bull in a good position behind us. We see Carlos Sainz must have come into the pits. He's dropping down the order. And that unfortunately means that Nikita Mazepin has breached his way into the top 20 most of the time. He is off the bottom of the list and is not visible as we make a mistake there coming out of the hairpin. And that is undoubtedly going to cost us a bit as we run incredibly wide there and have a quick lock-up. Which means that we're now alongside Sergio Perez as we come down the DRS straight. We're the only ones out of these three without the DRS. And somehow, even without it, we are able to stay ahead of the other Red Bull. I guess our traction out of the hairpin there, or the left-hander I should say, was enough to give us a speed advantage by the end of the straight. But it's not going to help us too much here. We've got Verstappen to close up to again. He's still within a second though, so we know that we have got a chance. As we come around the final corner, he's actually dived his way into the pit lane, and in fact we know that Sean Gelael's managed to stay ahead of Bottas, so he must be pretty good in a straight line as well. As we watch him come into the pits now, we'll see where he comes out to. There goes Verstappen. Now, he's still in a battle with Perez right now. Perez with Gasly right now. And he does seem to have closed up right onto the back of the AlphaTauri. But they are going to come out into some traffic. There goes Verstappen. He comes out behind Jack Aitken. And then this trio of cars of Giovinazzi, Schumacher and Latifi. And that's where Gelael has been caught. As he comes out of the pit lane. As he goes around the outside of Nicholas Latifi. And absolutely destroys the other car there. Latifi, of course, completely outclassed by Sean Gelael, who I will remind you is the lowest level in the game in terms of acclaim. He may be in the second best car.
Box.
You get the team radio to come in. He may be in the second best car, but Sean Gelael, his skills are not on the same level as Nicholas Latifi's, but he still outclasses him, which just goes to show how good he is, doesn't it? Good old Latifi. Anyway, as we ride on board, we're into the pit lane now, and we have a look back at what Sean Gelael's doing, as he is going to be coming down. And we've got a car going saying, oh, Mick Schumacher smashed his front wing up there, and everyone's ground to a halt on the circuit. We've got a safety car coming out as we rejoin us in the pit lane now. There's going to be some cars coming through. We've got Lando Norris currently leading the race. There goes Jack Aitken ahead of us. And we just about get out ahead of Max Verstappen as the safety car waits for us to come round again. We're going to have to sit behind the Aston Martin rookie for a while. Let's go aboard with Schumacher. He was coming up behind Esteban Ocon, who had a puncture and just rear ends him blind, to be quite honest. And anyone that's watched, I think, season 1 or 2 of the cult career will know that Mick Schumacher is prone to running into the back of the people who are stopped on track. And this is Galeo's view. Thankfully, does not receive any damage from coming to a halt there behind Gasly. But it has cost them, though. They are all the way down in P6 behind Daniel Ricciardo. In fact, actually in a McLaren sandwich, because Lando Norris is behind them as we lead the restart. Or at least try to. Only the second time, I believe, that I've ever had to do this. So, trying to back them up as much as possible. And we've made our break. And incredibly, absolutely destroyed Verstappen. Left him miles behind. I know it says he's a lap down, but we've pulled nearly 3/4 of a second there through just the final corner as we get down into turn 1. Small lock-up for us. A big yawn for me as I try to stay awake once again for one of these videos. Not that it's boring me, it might be boring everyone else, but at least I can say that I'm not bored. But we have managed to stay quite clear of Verstappen, actually pulling nearly a second away from him, doing almost a Verstappen to him, as this is one of the things that he does like to do in this game when we've tried to escape him in the past. And we'll rejoin on lap 13, so clearly our breakaway had worked. As we come round, we're about to have a couple more DRS zones. Oh, as we made a massive error there coming out of the same corner as earlier on. Too much oversteer by the looks of things, but this time we keep it on the track, going into the left-hander there. Down the DRS straight, we're already under attack from Max Verstappen. Powering through the corners they go. And yes, ignore that. We just go incredibly wide there through one of the final corners. And rather worryingly, Valtteri Bottas, our rival from the previous season, currently within 1.5 seconds of us as he's caught up to the back of the Red Bulls. Thankfully, though, Sean Galale still in the top 10, despite being the worst driver on the grid on paper, is still better than Nikita Mazepin and Nicholas Latifi. But we see Verstappen go around the outside here into turn 1 and go side by side into turn 2, but we've given him the DRS. That was probably a foolish mistake. And now his teammates can have a look at him as well. Sergio Perez looking to go around the outside of Verstappen now into turn 4. We've managed to get away from it, but Perez into second place ahead of Verstappen. What a move from Perez there as we watch us come round into the same corner that we've cocked up at least twice already. Somehow we've kept it together. Let's go on with Verstappen for that critical mistake. You see, he gets a good run on us into turn 1, but we outbrake him there, going through turn 1. And then he has to lift because we're in the way. And going up the hill, DRS open, but because he lost so much speed going through turn 2, Perez just creeps up behind him, forces Verstappen onto the unfavourable line, and masterfully gets past him. As we rejoin them now, as we go down to the final couple of corners, Sergio Perez not going to be a threat to us. Off in the background, Pierre Gasly's actually got past Daniel Ricciardo. He's moved up into P5. Sean Galale still in P7, but it's a good result for him, better than Zhou Guanyu was ever able to achieve in a season opener. As we cross the line, oh, we've had a massive accident there as we cross the finish line. Some oil on the track or something as we watch everyone go flying past 100 miles an hour. That is not safe at all. Daniel Ricciardo probably quite rightfully picks up driver of the day in the McLaren, but it's another season opener win for Radiant Racing. and that's going to be crucial. The difference between this time and last is that we've actually got a teammate who's picked up some points for us as well in the first race, so we might not be last in the Constructors' Championship compared to those around us. Maybe behind Red Bull, but we'll just have to see in a moment when we get onto those results. For now, though, it is time for the podium. And we come onto the podium. We've stolen a racing wheel from the car. That will be an instant fine by the FIA, and apparently our driver has decided that he doesn't want to touch people on the podium anymore and is wearing gloves to interact with them, as well as receive the trophy and take the champagne. Quite rude and also illegal. That will be a fine. Let's get on to the race results. And here are the race results. Of course, we picked up the win and also the fastest lap by a country mile there over our rivals. Sergio Perez and Valtteri Bottas actually make it onto the podium. There must have been an issue with Max Verstappen. Pierre Gasly, Daniel Ricciardo, Sean Gelael, Lando Norris, Yuki Tsunoda, Lance Stroll and Charles Leclerc follow the podium. And I went back and checked that Max Verstappen actually suffered an instant DNF as soon as we crossed the line, much like we've seen on the channel before, but only when we have been driving the car, so I guess that sucks for him. But anyway, onto the Drivers' Championship, and of course everyone is in the exact same order that they finished the race. But look at that, we've got Sean Gelael up into 6th as our teammates. Let's go on with the rest of the order, I guess. And of course further down the order, Max Verstappen currently 21st ahead of Mick Schumacher as the 2 DNFs for this race. And because of that disaster for Red Bull not picking up the 2-3 there, Radiant Racing move into the lead of the Constructors' Championship, 16 points ahead of rivals Red Bull. Then we have AlphaTauri, McLaren, Mercedes, Aston Martin and Ferrari as point scorers, followed by Williams, Alpine, Alfa Romeo and Haas. That's all. We'll catch you in the next one.